Good evening, afternoon, whatever time it is, Star Wars players. How's everybody doing with the quarantines? Hopefully, everybody's doing well. Uh, there might be a quarantine, but you know what? Us streaming is not going to give anybody a virus or anything. It might give some people some eyesores, but I mean, we're here live for
Damn.
Holotheatre. Joining us tonight is the one, the only, the man, the myth, the
Don't
legend,
say that.
Mr. Advocate himself, the great Scott Lingrell.
Thank you.
Yeah, threw enough superlatives over there to you, Scott. So how you doing out there, out in Pennsylvania?
I'm doing well. My daughter saw one of my interviews with you where you said that, and now all my daughter's friends go, "Hey, it's the man, the myth, the legend," every time they see me.
That's great.
Good.
Yeah. So thank you. This will give them more feedback.
Hey, you know what? What we do, only helps you. I mean, how old are your daughters? Are what, in high school now?
12 and 14, close. One's in high school, one's in middle school. So.
Hey,
The man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah, the man, the myth, the legend. We got to treat you as you deserve. So.
PA's okay. It's obviously a lockdown pretty much. Bars, restaurants, they're doing all that. At work, I've been basically working at home, going to my office to get some things here and there, but there's nobody there. So everyone's working from home, which is good.
Yeah, they haven't. I'm still working out in California doing my stuff over with the printing company. We're doing a lot of stuff here. I know Jerry was saying that he's working from home as well.
I work in a restaurant. I'm a cook, so working from home isn't really a thing. But we're still open for takeout only. But basically,
good.
I don't have to go in very often because you don't need very many people to do that. But my company is paying us a slightly reduced wage for the hours that we're missing. So I'm at least being compensated in some way, which for a lot of people in my position is not happening. So I'm definitely one of the lucky ones for sure.
Good. Yeah. So hopefully this gets resolved sooner than later, right?
Yeah, definitely. We'll probably have at least a month of this, but we'll see.
Well, I know that the government is talking about doing a stimulus package. So if anybody's looking to pick up some of the cards from the PC, once you get those checks, just go on over to SWCCG.com. We'll gladly take some of that stimulus package for cards.
That's hilarious, Dan.
Absolutely.
I like your angle.
The PC needs some help as much as everybody else, right?
I'm sure we could all use a little help, but
some more than others, right, Jerry?
That's right. I hope everybody's staying safe, not going out too much if you don't have to, washing your hands, all that good stuff. Hopefully we don't have to spend too much on that today. Let's just talk about Star Wars cards and have a good time, huh?
I mean, I think it's a beaten dead horse at this point, but
it's kind of our whole world right now, so I get it.
Yeah, you can say that.
I got an email from the storage unit where we have all our extra stuff, right? And they emailed a few of us just basically saying, "Hey, listen, we're not the normal industry. Just be smart when you come out here." But they haven't closed that off, and it's been good. It's amazing how much stuff is there, though. So.
All the extra prize support kind of stuff, and
you know what? I'll tell you what. After I move back east, I'd love to come see it.
We were joking about doing a storage wars with it, like a little storage wars.
Auction off.
I'll give you $2.
All these young Jedi cards. What am I gonna do with these?
Who wants 80,000 packs of young Jedi?
German young Jedi.
I'll take them.
You got
I'll give you $3. That's my final offer.
Gungan Führers for days.
Okay, so
that's one of the cards in German Young Jedi.
I believe you. I believe you. I believe you, Jerry.
It's a Gungan general, but it's Gungan Führer.
I believe you. So the big thing, Star Wars wise, again, was the NPC. Unfortunately, had to be canceled with everything going on in the world. Real life has trumped Star Wars at this point, and so Scott, just from your aspect, because I know that you handle a lot of this stuff, like the final decision. So what were some of the decisions that led to canceling the NPC?
So I think the biggest thing is once they started canceling sporting events and, we were kind of looking at what events were still being held, right? So WrestleMania still hasn't been canceled, and that's in Florida. But once they said I guess they're now moving that to the performance center. So we had kind of seen every other event getting canceled over and over again, and we were worried that, they said, anything more than 100, anything more than 50, and we just decided, you know what, it's only going to get worse. And we already booked the space for January, which is nice. They let us, cover the costs, and they said no problem. We're going to do it for free and move it. Yeah. Okay. So everything will be in January now.
And I know we've had the NPC at that hotel for a number of years now. I've actually lost track, but we've always it's been over a decade, and I mean we've had a lot of success with them and everything. So seeing that they've done that and they're willing to accommodate us, especially in January. So right now we do know that the NPC next year is going to be in January, correct?
Yes, it'll be. Yeah, okay. Actually, we can look at the date. So it'll be in January 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Okay.
In New Brunswick.
So everybody circle your calendars now.
Yeah, exactly. So circle your calendars, get your airline tickets, your rooms. I mean, once the rooms become available and everything. So
yeah. I know a couple of the Colorado guys who were going to go to the NPC, they were able to get credit for a future flight.
Same
maybe
here.
Use it for the January one, or maybe to go to Worlds or whatever else we end up coming up with or something. But definitely, it's unfortunate that we had to cancel the NPC, but definitely makes 100% sense. It's still in this April time period. I think maybe once by the time we get to summer, things will start loosening up. But for the foreseeable future, it just we're in a new ball game. So
we
just
absolutely
kind of play it by ear.
That's what GEMP has been, right? Everybody's been on GEMP, which is good.
Yeah, the quarantine tournaments have been a plenty.
Yes, again, thank you to one Anthony Howard Batmouse. If you don't know who he is,
Mouse Bat,
you're doing a lot of things wrong. That gentleman is huge when it comes to anything on GEMP. He has run the GEMP NPC. He has the Constellation Tournament. Now he's putting out quarantine tournaments, and I know he's talking about doing other such tournaments. If you go on Facebook, Austin Madison out in North California, they're doing their scheduled local event, but it's going to be on GEMP only.
Yeah, we're going to try to do that with the Colorado local that was going to be planned for the end of the month. Just all get together on Saturday and play games on GEMP instead of doing it in real life.
So here's a question. Being that a lot of people essentially, I know people probably have that time off already scheduled for the NPC and everything. Is the PC working on anything like to supplement for that weekend, or is it anything like batting around any ideas or anything?
Well, I know we talked about a couple of things. Doing it online, obviously, you don't want to get together in your local event. But one thing that we talked about is maybe doing something that weekend. I know we're working on it. Maybe having some events all day where you play in real time, but online. So we'll see. We're working on it. I know a couple people have some ideas. So I think we should have something finalized, I think, in the next week or two. And that way it's done.
And I know Chris Goglin with his Monday show just mentioned that I guess he said something about it on Monday. Unfortunately, I was at work. I mean, I was watching, but I couldn't hear because work. I mean, I was printing out a lot of like flyers and everything for our local hospital saying, don't do this, wash your hands, don't cough, don't go outside if you think you have any sort of like anything wrong with you. So I'm sorry, Chris, I am 3 hours behind you. I will watch your show eventually.
Listen, it's all about just being smart, right? Yeah. So that's good that you're passing the word.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to hear that the PC is trying to do something, and there's going to be.
Yeah, we can definitely try to stream some online games to sort of fill the void that weekend for sure, and hopefully maybe come up with an online sort of thing. But at least we're coming up with ways to fill the void, and everybody's. Pitching in and doing all that good stuff. So I'm glad that we have our community that's able to satisfy and get these tournaments going. And I don't know, it's awesome to see us come together for things like that.
One thing I wanted to do is I know Chris Kelly and I were talking crap back and forth to each other, and I was like, why don't I just
who doesn't
have a grudge match that weekend on you? So that's one of the ideas is maybe we can get some different things going.
I
think one of the concerns. Well, and Chris can't win against me, so it doesn't matter.
Now it's on
so
tape.
here's a question.
Yeah.
Here's a question. So you have said this at least on GEMP, or maybe it was Slack the other day, where you can beat me in person, but when it comes to
Yes.
GEMP, I will beat you. So if
Yes.
Chris can't beat you, does that make me better than Chris Kelly?
Absolutely, without question.
Thank you.
I mean, who isn't, right?
Yeah, logically speaking.
Wow.
Well, I know.
Ouch.
Well, I will say that Mark Walseth just started teaching some 8th graders, so maybe they can beat Chris. Most of them, I think, at this point, but not all of them.
Oh, this is
This
like
is why we need to have Scott on more often. I would
just
love
need
to
to
have
change the
Scott.
name
I would
of
love
this
to have
show.
you and Chris Kelly on at the same time. Just saying.
That can be arranged.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, I want him to get better. I'm hoping that he can really do a good job. We'll see.
So here's a question though.
It takes time.
Isn't he the only advocate at any point to actually win a major though?
Well,
just throwing it out there.
Well, listen, I was winning tournaments before he was in diapers, so I don't know.
That's great. All right.
I've had some wins back in the day, but yeah, obviously, I think my biggest win lately was winning the pods at the MPC that year. We had 80 people.
Okay.
I've made some finals here and there, but I just can't bring home the bacon. That's okay. That's all right.
That's fair.
Yeah, Chris has won, but hey, what did they say? A broken clock is right twice a day.
Yep.
No, in all seriousness, obviously, yeah, Chris is a hell of a player. So I think he knows I'm joking with him, but
yeah,
I think it'll be fun to have some of these events where you kind of have some grudge matches or some fun competition.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm gonna say this. I don't know about Jerry, but if there's a match like this and we can get it scheduled, I would love to do commentary for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I will get up extra early on a Saturday to wake up for an East Coast grudge match from Scotland versus Chris Kelly.
If we know about it ahead of time, we'll set our clocks for it.
So if anybody, everyone who is watching, I would love to see people go on the forums and actually post like which kind of grudge matches they would like to see. So if anybody who can do that, like if you want to see maybe like a Chris Kelly versus a Scotland Grell, or a Justin Desai versus
Reed.
Reed would be fun. Reed doesn't play on GEMP, but I mean, we might. You know what? If we can get some like small things to give out, we might get more players. So that's something that maybe marketing should look at.
It's fun. It's funny because I know years ago Reed and Justin they got along fine, but they weren't. They kind of buried the hatchet because they love the community so much, and it's awesome to see those guys have become really friendly and great. Whereas they, sometimes when you're so competitive, you look at like Tom Brady, right? When you're competitive in anything, you want to be the best, and you have some top players that have done that. I'm sure like it would be fun to see Angelo and Greg Shaw go at it again.
It might take a while on GEMP for Angelo.
Yeah, I know, but it's fun to see some of these past matchups that have been really cool to see them played again. In a new meta or something like that. That would be a lot of fun.
I agree, and one thing I would like to do is go through a lot of the old videos that we have and maybe show some good highlights. Like, there's a lot that I personally want to see done with what we have and expand upon it, but that's another side story.
Like old game commentary and stuff like that? Or?
Well, I wouldn't say like old game commentary because, I mean, we have a lot of commentary. I'm saying like post highlights of certain games. Like, the Phil versus Johnny Chu finals from Worlds a couple years ago. That was just a good matchup because Phil was playing TTO versus Johnny's Prophet, and Phil lost TTO right off the bat to a drain, but he still was able to come back and actually win that match.
Yeah.
So.
I think that the biggest thing is, right, I used to videotape everything with like a handheld camera when we did this.
Yeah.
And there was a matchup in Philly where it was Reed versus Greg Shaw, which was like Rops versus Watch Your Step B or something.
Yeah.
And the other game was Brian Harold versus Kevin Shannon, where it was the Death Star
game. Yeah.
And of course, we picked like the wrong deck to videotape, and that would have been like amazing to watch.
Because he only played that deck like once or twice.
Yeah, and then
He
they
kept to play
errated
it
the
in a
heck out
match
of it.
play, and then they changed everything up. But like that deck was. I remember I was at that tournament as well, and I was watching that game. And I think you had somehow roped me into like tournament directing the consolation tournament that was going on at the time, and I just basically I was standing there watching Harold and Kevin Shannon the whole time, and I was just kind of ignoring my duties as the consolation runner at the time. I remember that very
Was this before you became a little bit more mature, Jerry, and actually like?
This was early in my comeback for sure. This was probably 2009 or 10, so it was right when.
So you were still like a wee little.
I don't even know if I was a moderator at the time yet. Yeah.
No, maybe not. But that was so much fun.
Oh yeah.
Seeing a Death Star blow away every location in the game. I mean, people were like, "When did you see that?" You just don't see that.
No.
Yeah.
But it's.
I was going to say, like, I love hearing about these little strange snippets, like people playing out the wall decks and doing well with them. I mean, if there's anybody who plays out the wall decks and actually has success, it's you, Scott.
Yeah. Well,
Joe Olsen is known to play some weird stuff too. I've always had respect.
I was going to say, was it Joe who a couple of years ago at the Indoor Grand Prix decided
the
to
Asteroids deck?
The Asteroids deck.
That was Joe Olsen.
That was Joe Olsen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
because like stuff like that just like stick out in my head. And
Nebulon B frigates or whatever and stuff, or the N1 fighters. That's what it was with. It's on automatic pilot and Asteroid Sanctuary.
And I mean, I want to say he beat either Harpster or Goglin. It was Goglin.
He beat Chris.
Yeah. And then Goglin went into
chat, so he can confirm.
Yeah, Chris went in and played in the consolation. I want to say he came in second or first in that he came in either second or first in that consolation.
Yeah, he's here in chat. He'll set us straight if he knows.
Yes, please, Chris. If you're paying attention to us and don't have us on mute like I have you on mute, please let us know.
Oh God. But listen, some of these decks. I remember in Origins a long time ago or DecipherCon, I played a guy playing There Is Good in Him, and he played an entire space deck, but I didn't play any systems, and he didn't either. So he was just losing space and space and space, and I'm like, why is he doing this? And apparently he was just hoping someone else would play a system, but his entire deck was built towards space. And so just a bad play on his part. But you have memories like that.
Yeah.
I beat someone with inserts against Jawas, and he was like, this is the worst deck I've ever played against.
Right.
That's sometimes you run into that. But these are you have these great memories, right?
Totally, yeah. I remember Tom McGee, one of my old Colorado guys, he had this crazy Dark Side Senate deck that was super good back in like 03, 04 time. And he lost to a deck that started nothing but the Death Star trash compactor. And it was just like, how do you do that? Like, it's just like the worst thing. It just, things randomly happen. I wasn't the one playing, so I don't remember the details. But, it was just like a crazy story of like the
you
best
can drain there.
At the time. Yeah, it's insane.
You can drain there though, right?
You would know the text on that site better than I would, sir.
I honestly, I'm not even try and look it up. So apparently, Chris won the consolation that year. I came in second, and the big joke was that Chris won more money than Joe
because he was able to win the consolation tournament since he was able to get into it.
And you know what? I'm kind of upset
it.
because now, like the consolation, like I want to say it's the top two get like trophies and everything. I didn't get a trophy for that. I'm like,
it depends on the tournament. I know, like at Worlds and the NPC, I think they do, but
Endor they did well, and I don't think Endor.
Endor maybe not. That one's a fringe trophy regional. I'm not in it for the trophies.
So the trash compactor, you can deploy here without presence, and if you control 4 strain +1.
Oh, I mean that. Okay. You can deploy there without presence. Like you don't even have to be a spy or anything.
It's a 0-0 site though.
It's a 0-0. Yeah. Like he literally started a 0-0 site and beat like a top dark side deck at the time. It was insane. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember the specifics. And Tom McGee's probably not around to watch it.
I'm going to say this: if anybody plays a deck with the trash compactor in it, I'll send you a prize. No, I'm going to send you a prize. In the next. By Sunday, if somebody plays a game with the trash compactor,
our next broadcast,
by our next broadcast, they play a game with the trash compactor and win as their starting location. I will send you a prize.
Send the GIMP link, and
Yes.
we will gladly play some of it during the show, because that would
Yes.
be
That would
epic.
be hilarious. So, I mean, I've already given something out to
Challenge.
Chris Kelly, so not yet, but yeah. So, speaking of interesting decks, Scott, it seems like you've been
Sure.
playing a lot on GEMP recently. This is even
No
before
comment.
like any quarantine or anything. So, no, it has, Chris. It has to be a actual open match.
Open.
So I'm throwing it down. That has to be an open match on GEMP. None of
Starting
these like
it?
starting the trash compactor.
Because yeah, I mean the story wasn't that he was playing in Premier A New Hope Sealed.
Yeah,
He was
it
playing
has.
in
Yeah,
open
it has to be in an open meta, starting the Death Star 2 trash or the Death Star trash compactor, and I'll send you a prize. And it's not. It's going to be something awesome.
Okay, you can start careful planning non-V with the trash compactor.
Don't give any, Scott. You're not allowed to give
Hey.
any suggestions because your mind works in crazy, mysterious ways.
Okay. Yeah, that's a bad idea though.
Yeah.
But yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, see, Quick Draw suggests the bluffs, but that's a much better planet to use with CPV.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No,
So,
it has to be the Death Star trash compactor.
You can't
Uh,
even do
no.
CP non.
oh,
or
I guess
V.
you couldn't because
Nope.
you have to start the
Yeah. So
All
there's the
right, so
challenge.
let's-
I want to see it. Okay,
I
so
think
but
we're gonna
I was gonna say so.
leave that one open for a few weeks.
So yeah,
I think
so
they
Scott,
rescued the
you've been
princess,
playing a
so that
lot of
might be
like
difficult.
you've been playing a lot of like Mind of what you have learned. So is there a reason why you guys like you're going back to that deck?
So there's certain decks that I'll play. I've been doing agents where you flip a lot lately, as well as the Jedi testing. And I think the biggest issue is with Jedi testing, it's like 99% there. The problem with that deck is if you make it too good, it's broken.
Yeah.
And
And it's not fun to play against.
no. And so what I tried to do is I've been playing it, tweaking it a little here and there, and a couple of us got to go on Slack, and we've been kind of talking through some deck ideas. And so some of the cards they liked, they had some ideas. We've been putting it on, like Ahsoka, for example, putting her on a ship with test 3. You're now subtracting 2 from their destinies. And then if you use something like changing the odds, now you're -3, and then you subtract 2 from attrition with Yoda. It's very, very difficult to kill anybody. I mean, it's
There's
kind of
like that
common
clone
sense.
guy who subtracts from destinies. You could abuse him too, right?
Well, you're thinking of 5s. He subtracts
Yeah.
from I want to say even.
Or there's
Yeah,
Oddball
yeah,
who like
yeah.
Oddball
Or
who makes
maybe
an
it's
odd
Oddball.
destiny even. There's
Yeah.
there's,
So you can do
there's
stuff
some
like
guy,
that.
maybe mess
Yeah.
around with him a little bit.
But I
no,
think that's the biggest thing is it's a control deck, right? The goal is to subtract from destinies, subtract from attrition, and redraw cards with Yoda. That's pretty much it. And if you can lock them down once you pass test 1 with that in projection, it's very difficult for any sites to do any damage on the ground other than the Cloud City lower quarter or whatever it's called,
The downtown plaza.
Yeah.
plaza. That's
So-
pretty much the only site they'll be able to drain at.
Well, it cancels all their bonuses, correct?
Correct. And then you use projection to make it -1.
So in theory, if they're sitting around draining on Cloud City,
You can't do it.
Yeah, you can't.
What
do
about
it.
in space? Are you guys? Is it just you have a lot of ships and you're able to cover?
Yeah, I think you have enough ships that you go
You
after
can't really
them.
projection in space.
No, you can't, and then there's no Tehal. So I think the biggest
Yeah.
thing in space is you just have to. I mean, most of the time, Endor is obviously the biggest problem because it's a drain 2, but everything else is only a drain of 1, right? It's mostly 2-1 systems.
That's fair. Yeah, because then all the other ones are plus, but they're bonuses. Like Jakku is a bonus and things like that.
I mean,
Okay, that's fair.
there is Snap. Snap in his matching ship.
Wexley?
Yeah,
Okay.
because he works like a mini Tehao.
He's
I want to say
similar to Tehao. Yeah, he does something. He might just cancel the drain, or does he?
No, he
does
makes
use
it.
force
He
to,
makes. I want to
you
say he's
use
like a
force
mini.
to reduce the loss. Okay. Yeah. Look up Snap.
Okay.
But he's a similar to a Tehao.
What's his ship? Do we know?
Blue Squadron 1 or something like that.
Yeah, it's on the ship.
Oh, it's on the ship?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Once per turn, may use 1 to cancel a force drain and another system.
Yeah, so it is cancel a force
It
drain.
cancels the force drain. There you go, Scott.
That's pretty good, and it's immune too. That's
Yeah.
pretty dang good. So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's the thing is it's a control deck. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's just fun to play. And then with agents, I've enjoyed that because you start off and do the damage right away with presence.
And when you say
Okay.
agents, you're talking about
Black
Dark
Sun.
Agents of the Black Sun.
Agents of
Yeah,
Black
yeah.
Sun. Is that Agents of the Court?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I want to say the other, like a couple, like maybe a week or two ago, I saw you try and play an Asians decks, but it was like so set for like a different meta from like 5 years ago.
Oh
You
yeah,
tried,
yeah.
you tried, but then you're
I
just like, nope.
accidentally played the wrong deck. But yeah, I think with to get back to Jedi testing, I mean that's the thing is there are so many ways to manipulate them with cards, with destinies. You can redraw destinies, you can redraw more destinies with other cards. Wars not make one great, making it so they got to pay extra. It's just complete manipulation. It reminds me of the old Lord of the Rings where you don't pee in the pool, that deck with the
Yeah.
White Ranger. So okay, Dan. Well, basically the
I
idea
played
is it's
Loader. I
about
don't know if Dan did.
manipulation.
I did
Yeah.
not. I'm strictly a Magic player.
Okay,
So
that's fair.
So you just
when you say
control what they're
when you
doing.
say
That's all.
control, I get excited though because I'm just like ping.
Are you
idea.
guys with this moment you have learned? Are you testing all the way through 5 or just going through 3?
3. There's no point to do 4 because you can redraw and get the cards you need, and there's other ways to do it. And then 5 is pointless because your destinies are high by that time anyway.
Fair enough.
That's
And
fair.
with Decree, it's not worth going to 6 because you
Yeah.
won't make them lose 2 force.
Okay.
It's really not worth it. So
It
Just takes too
sounds
long
interesting.
as well.
I love going on there and seeing you play these different decks. I mean, I've seen you play so many different decks over the years, just outside of the meta. So, and at this point, with what we're progressing with set 12,
Well, yeah,
I
and
mean,
like
I
I
think
think we said a couple weeks ago, I don't think anybody play tested more games on the
Yeah.
tweak set than you did. You were
Yeah.
always on play testing.
well,
Yeah,
I mean, I
Hayes-
did a bunch, but
yeah,
this
Hayes
was a
brought it up.
fantastic set. They did more than ever before, which was awesome. And I think that's a testament to the tech people, right? Putting it out
The
there and
GEMP,
making
the
sure
GEMP
it's
team
available.
making sure
Yeah.
that we can play a test on GEMP, and then
Without
that in turn makes
Yeah.
it easier to release. Here in a few days or weeks when the I guess it's 10 days or something when the set actually
Yeah.
comes out.
Hopefully.
But it's so easy to be able to try different ideas. Like one of the ideas that I've been trying to play with is where you start Yavin 4 and Haven on your turn. So basically you start that effect on the table. So as long as they don't go their first turn and cancel it, you're now bringing everything down a lot cheaper. So there's
Okay.
some different ideas that I've seen that I've tried to recreate or that I remember. There's always ideas out there that people aren't
Yeah.
thinking about.
No, yeah, and it helps to have people like you who have played for so long, who have seen all the sort of iterations, crazy decks from back in the day. Like, oh, what if I try to bring this deck, like your crazy boom racing deck, or all the stuff that
Or
like
I've
bring
seen
it back and see if it's viable, and you just have the knowledge of like knowing what it used to do and being able to adapt it to current things. So
I was going to
Absolutely.
say. I was going to say. So speaking of old cards and old decks, so when are we going to see Son V? I know a lot of people are like, they want it.
I hate non-location activation. That's like my biggest pet peeve. Hark Seth, I hate him. I wish he was never in the game.
Yeah.
And so Sun V was another one of those things that I will fight to the death, but I have no real say in it. But it's just some of those things because you want to have a negative, right? If you put a location that gives you force, you need to have a negative to having that on the table.
Yeah, I always felt there was not enough penalty on Sun V for you basically just put a card. So for those who didn't play, it was an epic event that you started as a starting interrupt kind of thing, and you could take a card from your hand and put it onto this epic event, and then you could flip it over while it was on that card, and it would count as using a force. And then you could stack more cards, and every time you stacked another one, you had to pay extra to stack that one or whatever. But like you said, it was not basically non-location activation, and I could see them trying to do something similar to Sun V, but as long as they made it more fair, because it just ended up being, throne room on steroids, and essentially, especially when combined with, communing and all the other things that we had back in the day. Like it was just, there was all sorts of crazy shit. But, basically it'd be a different version of throne room where you just start this card instead. And I think we can maybe just not worry about that for right now. But I know a lot of people have been pining for it, but I haven't seen a good
I know one
reason
Joe
for it
Olson
yet.
really wants it.
Yeah, right.
But
That's fair.
You know what? I'm going to say
well-
this: when Joe
Yeah.
Olson actually can win a more recent event instead of just winning the NPC twice or something like that, I think then he should be able to like make Son V. So it's like, what have you done
Here's what I'll
What
tell
have you
you.
done for me lately?
Yeah, exactly. One thing, Jerry, you said about having the experience and remember things. It was interesting. I had at dinner, I was talking to Connor Britton from at
Yes.
Endor,
Yeah.
and he was talking about sometimes it's actually good because he doesn't have the experience and he has a fresh look on things, and
Right,
it's
yeah, we've
interesting
definitely
how
talked
he
about
uses
that.
things. So it's nice to see there's different sides to it, right? But like I put a card into my Mind What You Have Learned, and everyone else was like, I don't even know what that card does, and that's basically now the card that makes that deck run, just because of the experience of seeing how people have done it in the past.
Yeah. What's the card?
Hiding in the Garbage.
Okay.
Do you even know what it does?
I don't know what it does off the top
I
of my
know
head.
I know what it
So
does.
basically,
That's
The
why
garbage will do.
Yeah, it's a good card. So basically, you name a card type,
Yep.
you draw it in the hand, you reveal each card in your force pile one by one until you get that card in your hand. So if you track your deck, you can basically pull any card into your hand in your activation phase, your draw phase, it doesn't matter, and then use it that turn.
That's neat.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
I mean, it's not immune to alter, which is fine. I mean, it does
But
cost.
with Mind What You Have Learned, it's pretty impossible
It's
to
immune
alter.
to alter. It's essentially immune to alter because of that.
I'm kind of surprised that card is actually coded on GEMP, because it's one of those.
I was happy.
Yeah,
it does seem kind of like a weird mechanic, but
yeah, well, not even that. It's more just like one of those random Dagobah rares that nobody will even mention. I mean,
no.
I would think that creatures would be on there before that.
Well, it was also like negative power coupling. That what
polarized
you would do.
Negative power coupling.
Yeah. So you would move the cards into your use pile. They would be upside down, and then you'd know where they are for next turn. So you wouldn't even need to worry about it. You saw every card.
Yeah. I remember abusing that because polarized negative power coupling makes both players play with their use piles.
Yeah.
And then then use Voyeur. Yeah, you just crush them with Voyeur.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's 2 of that card in there. Pretty sure.
Absolutely.
So that was a good combo.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there's a lot of cards out there. I keep coming back to certain cards that people don't think of, and I think what's the one where Maul and a Jedi draw 2 force, draw 2 cards each. Do you know which one that is?
Not off the top of my head.
Well. Anyway, the other thing that's recent is using Suns Down and Dark Hours.
Is that a dark side card?
Yeah. So what you do is it's good against any speeders that makes them power and maneuver 0 and forfeit or everything 0. But then you use Dark Waters and basically you draw Destiny of any location where they have nighttime conditions. And if you draw greater than their ability, it makes them go to sleep. Yeah. So what you can do is if they have like 4 or 5 guys there, the idea is against like no idea. So if you miss one of the draws, they're the only one left at the site.
Okay, that's pretty crazy.
And you can beat them down.
That's pretty crazy.
So and then you can you can't counter assault in that deck, but against like Hitco speeders, if they're all power 0 and they have 3 or 4 characters there, you can use counter assault to really do a lot of damage. So there's some cards out there people don't know about.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't give any ideas because then Chris Kelly and Design might shield against them.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's got to worry about Dark Waters, or Dark Hours, but it's an awesome card. I've been using that in Carbon Chamber and use it with Ig because you can get all the cards you need, and it's good.
This is how Scott has beaten myself twice at the NPC and Jerry once at the NPC on stream.
Yeah, I mean,
that was just all too easy, Jerry. That was.
I mean, I played pretty poorly. I got a really bad draw with Roner. You can go back and watch that one. It was live streamed.
No, it was just all too easy.
It was so bad. And like the winner of our game was going to play against Tom Kelly, and I fully went. I was like, I just got to think I can get through Scott and go after Tom. So my decks were very tilted towards beating Tom Kelly, and he played way different decks than he did. So congrats to you. Obviously, that was the last year at the NPC. That was a fun time. So
absolutely.
But
yeah, I mean, I really think people, if they're worried about like no idea or weenie decks, the Dark Hours and combo is amazing. because it basically just it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So there's other cards out there that'll do this. It's just a matter of going in there and finding it, right? And that's all that matters.
Yeah, there's ways to tech
around.
around these cards. We just have to figure it out. I mean, a lot of things seem hard to beat and hard to figure out, but it just takes. There's a lot of cards in this game, and there's a lot of cards that people don't use. And there's you have to be willing to adapt yourself. You can't just say like, well, my deck the way I'm using it isn't working. Well, then change your deck. Make a few changes and attack the meta. Don't let the meta attack you.
Or move and then go to a new meta where your deck is going to thrive.
Well, it's like with the Jedi testing, right? So the first time I played against Map, Chris Kelly a couple of years ago, a different version of it, and I lost badly. And now I'm pretty sure I can beat Map every game with Jedi testing. And, so there's certain matchups that originally you look at it and you go, hey, Court can't beat No Idea. And then you add a few cards and now all of a sudden we know how to do it. I remember Hayes and a bunch of us were talking at Endor about how to do it. Yeah. It's just a matter of putting your brain together and figuring it out. Sometimes you got to, skew the deck a little bit to help against it, but that's what every meta has been.
Right. And Map has also sort of fallen back down. It was 2 years ago. It was pretty damn strong.
Yeah, so they errated
Map's a lot more fair now. I actually really like the place that Map is right now, and I think I've said that a few times. But yeah, like I like the way that you guys are able to think about that Mind What You Have Learned deck, or any deck in particular. Just nothing is that impossible. Like even if the meta seems like it's like No Idea is crazy right now and things like that, we can figure out how to beat these decks. And
what about Rescue the Princess? I think that seems like a pretty impossible deck to play.
I mean, everything's not going to be, but there's ways. You have to be open to changing your decks and changing into some things, but maybe not playing DBO or RTP.
I'm going to say, I actually want to see some of those objectives, not Rescue the Princess, maybe like a different variant on it, but I would love to see like a DBO Rebel Strike Team. Rebel Strike Team is a deck that has a lot of potential, but it's just not in the meta.
It's either broken or it's bad.
Yeah,
it's one of those things like it's like we never saw No Idea until the one helper card got made for it, right?
Right.
And now it's the best light side deck out there, or at least one of the top 2 or 3. So I mean. Okay. It's all about finding those balances and releasing the right cards and making sure. I like the way that, in this design, since the reset, I think they've been more hesitant and slow to build up decks as opposed to like, let's just drop everything all at once and hope it works out, because it didn't always work out back in Legacy. So
I want to see a stunning move. I really love that deck in the past.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
I think they did a good job with making the damage a little less, but the thing is to tweak it here and there and make it better.
Right. I like some of the cards that we got in set 12, like the Admiral Trench, I think is really going to help that deck have a nice space presence and be able to stay in space with some of its ships. And then also the Maul helpers and, the Maul, Lord Maul with lightsaber or whatever he's called is a lot, stronger. And then there's the other, Grievous, I think is going to be a lot more viable now that you can play Admiral Trench and General Grievous, so you have some synergy with your Imperial Command. I think like those sort of decks are going to be a lot more. I'm definitely looking forward to messing around with those. My card of the week that we'll get to here in a little bit, and some of my hit or miss questions are definitely geared towards those decks.
Okay.
Hopefully,
sounds like Jerry's looking
I
towards
can give
the future.
You some. What's that? Oh, maybe.
Gotta be, man. There's no point in sticking in the past. Especially, with this coronavirus thing. Let's just go to the future and we can go have a beer again.
One idea is when they expand the Empire, right? So not a lot of people do that. People still play the Boss Nass and the battle planes?
Yeah.
It depends.
You know what? I see it a lot in Throne Room. Still see it a lot in Hitco.
In my throne rooms, I've adapted to not playing the Boss Nash Chambers and playing the Cloud City lower corridor site, the one that your characters are power +2 if they have lightsabers, because that's a mobile site. They can't put Image of the Dark Lord there.
Yes, they can.
Yeah, Image can go there.
Yes, it can.
No, it can't. No, it's the same thing as projection. Can't go on a mobile site. It says deploy on any planet.
Oh yeah. You're right.
So then your character's lightsabers are power plus there.
Oh, you're talking about the virtual, not the
non-V. That's the one we always use.
Right. But yeah, because the Expand the Empire on Boss Nash Chambers is a pretty crazy
Yeah.
blowout if you come to it.
Yeah.
And also just the image of the Dark Lord. But then you have to find the Cloud City site. But I've been running a control tunnel vision in my throne rooms a lot more often to potentially cancel a Shizor's bounty against AOBS.
Okay, that's a good idea. Yeah.
So you can potentially use that to get your lower corridor if you need to.
And like we've said, this tweaking is good for the game. Overall, I think the game. I mean, I would love to see. I like that there's not a reset, but I like how Magic does their stuff, and I would like to see
the
something
rotation or whatever.
Thank you. That might be good, but overall, Star Wars is it's in a place.
Right. I mean, Magic releases more cards more regularly, so they kind of have to do a rotation or whatever. And I there's certainly some merits to switching to that system. We would have to start over again and then do that from the beginning. I think not from like right in the middle where we are now. But we don't release as many cards, and we can kind of control that if we have to. But yeah, it's I think this tweak set is going to do a good shakeup of everything. At least I hope so, and we can kind of build on it with the next set, and see where we need to adjust. But I think when Chris was on with us our last show, it's not to make Dark Side better than Light Side maybe right away. It's to bring it from 60-40 to 55-45, and then maybe we can adjust in the next set. Something like that. So,
which is good.
Yeah, and I don't know if my mind, what you have learned is only winning because it's so much better than my Dark Side right now. I'll take it where I can get it.
You know what? I'm going to say this: I want to see you play this. So
hey.
I don't want to. I need to get some OCS games in. I know that you and I have played already this month, but hey, maybe next month.
I'm out of OCS, but
so
we can definitely play something.
So how did you do in the OCS this month?
We had a hit or miss for one of these.
Yeah.
What do you mean a hit or miss?
Last week or a couple weeks ago, we Anyway, just tell us how you did.
How'd you do?
While you're finding out, I'm going to announce we had a 12-month subscription from SWCCG Ardra. 12 months is an awesome milestone. Thank you very much for your support. We will get the foil map objective slip out to you ASAP. Make sure to take a screenshot of your 12-month subscription there, because that is a one you don't want to miss, because foil map objective, right, for the win.
Any objective foil.
Right now, and it looks sweet. And I was glad in the last round of map tweaks they didn't actually errata the objective. They kind of errated all the other cards, so it's still current.
So
unfortunately, I know I went 3-1 in the games that I can find.
Okay, but what was your record for the month of March?
How do I see that? I don't know. I played too many games and pushed them out. I know for Dark, I lost.
You just go to here. I can figure it out. Let's see.
Yeah.
Go to the league, and then you go to OCS qualifier March. See details. Let's see. Advocate, you have played 12 games and you got 20 points. So you get 1 point for playing, and then you get 3 points for winning. So you got
3 wins.
Yeah. No. So I think it's on. Yeah, because I think we had you at 5 wins. We had every week on our show we do.
Who's winning? And that wasn't me.
And I think our over under was 5 for you. I think we both went over. If I remember correctly. So I think we both lost that.
Actually, 4 plus. I
think he went 4 and 8. Yeah, he went 4. I think our over/under was at 5.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure. It was a couple weeks ago. That
you know what? It's better than last month. That's all it's.
Where you went 0 and 12 or something, right?
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Hey, Jerry. Speaking of which, how are you doing?
I haven't played any games yet this month. I was sort of waiting to see.
You know what? I'm going to say this, Jerry.
I want the cards to come out.
What size jersey do you wear?
XL for
you wear an XL
jerseys.
Cool, because I got
hockey jerseys.
I got an XL Crosby jersey that will fit you perfectly.
You can't have a small fitting hockey jersey. That's like an oxymoron. It's got to look big, and you got to look like Kevin Smith, right? In a hockey jersey.
Well, anyway, I plan on doing better next month. I'm not playing Agents anymore.
Always the plan.
Yeah. So
you never sit down saying, "I'm going to lose this game."
I got to play something else.
Depends on who your opponent is.
Throne Room Nudges might be next month's deck again.
Throne Room Nudges. All right. Maybe that'll
Run
nudge you.
12 nudges.
Can I do commentary for one of those games?
No, it's horrible because you got to draw every destiny for it. Oh, it was a
Are
nightmare.
nudges even programmed in?
Yes, I played a game against Matt
Okay.
Sokol against agents when it was.
I know some of the
popular.
creatures aren't, so
It was bad. The idea is if you play nudges everywhere, they have no activation on Coruscant.
Coruscant, lose force.
But it didn't go well, and it took like 20 minutes to draw the destinies for all the nudges every time.
Just slows your counter down.
Yeah, it was bad.
Runs out because all your nudges, because you got to attack them.
You become Angelo.
But thanks to Matt Sokol for playing that game. But I mean, that was like deathly boring as hell for him.
I can imagine. So
yeah, it was bad.
So let's go on to our viewer. So we asked a bunch of people to see if they had any questions for Scott tonight.
I had
Jerry
one from
had
Gogolin.
One. So come
this
on,
one's kind
people.
Of
this is
it's
Scott Lingrell. How can you not have questions for this man?
If they have him, they can ask him in chat right now. Also,
yeah, come on.
So the one I got from Gogolin was: ask Scott what's one Star Wars story he's told during an interview that he wish he could take back.
Why would I say that one again? No, I think that that I've told it already.
I have a good one that we'll tell about Lingrell after you.
You know, I'll tell you a fun story. Chris would tell this. So basically, I for some reason would never have money with me. I would only have coins because I didn't really have a job that paid that anything, right? So I basically would have an Arizona iced tea bottle with coins in it, and I would bring it to all the events. So if I needed money, I would basically sit there and pour all the coins out and then hand them to for gas or for food. And it was very embarrassing for everybody to watch me basically pour out $5 and change.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I just would bring it to every event. And that's what I would use to pay for everything. And it was like, really? Can you just go to the bank and get some coins ahead of time, some dollars? That was always fun. I think, one of the problems, my wife was telling me the other day that I guess I was on my way to a work event. This is a long time ago. And I wanted to call her, and I stopped by one of the Star Wars events. But I didn't want her to really know because I was like, I was really doing work. Let me stop by and say hi at the event. And I called her. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess the caller ID said I was at the event. And she was like, I thought you were there playing because, I really was at work. And I would tell her if I was going to play or this or that. And it was just funny how she was like, hey, you were at the event. And I was like, no, I really wasn't. But it was just cute to remember that story. Do you have a story that's good?
This one's pretty silly. It's involving you and me. I think it was NPC 2013, somewhere around there. I lost in the first round to Chris Gogolin, but then I didn't lose another game the rest of the day, and I made it all the way to the top 4 of the consolation bracket. And I made it to the top 4 of the consolation bracket, and you come up to me and you're like, oh, we got to take your picture with the trophy. Because the top 4 of the main event, we're all going to get trophies. And I think you thought that the top 4 of the consolation were also all going to get trophies. So you and I took a picture with the trophy that says top 4 consolation of me. And then about an hour later, you come up to me and you're like, I need that trophy back because you're not. And I was like, are you serious? And then you gave me I got some other prize instead. And it was just, it was super funny. And I always will that. So had to put that one on air. See if everybody would like.
That's good. Well, I remember where I got trophies, and by accident, they didn't proofread them, the trophy company, and I put consolidation champion. So there's some trophies. Yeah, so it was I think Taco Bill has one. It's like consolation or consolidation champion or something like that.
Hold on.
And I remember a trophy that Mike Richards ordered for the Texas Mini Worlds one time, where it was held there was that one, and then there's this one I'm thinking of where it was held right after New Year's, and it was 2013, but it said 2012 on the trophy. Okay. Because he ordered it in 2012, but the year it was going to change, and so it was
13.
Yeah, it was really funny. I can't remember because those years might be wrong, but it was whatever the changeover was.
So, Scott, how do you spell consolation?
What do you mean? How do you spell it? C-O-N. SOLATION.
Okay.
Sounds right to me.
I had to make sure.
Yeah. No, but there are ones out there.
Oh,
that
I
say
know. Yeah,
Consolidation.
Probably it was autocorrect or something like that.
Right.
But I mean, I think there are a lot of good stories, right? I remember when Michael Richards was like vomiting and almost died in Texas. Was it?
I remember that year.
It was so bad. I mean, unfortunately, people have gotten sick too at events, but
it happens.
That happens. And we used to have people come down in their pajamas, and they still do. And that's one of the benefits of having a hotel, right? You just go to the event, you have fun with everybody. Yeah. I remember playing Battlestar Galactica for the first time with Reed, I think it was, and it might have I forget who it was. But I was so upset that someone was a Cylon. I had no idea. And I was like, how could you lie to me like this?
That's the whole game, Scott. It probably was Reed as a Cylon. Oh, Cam?
Camden, I think.
Cam is like,
why am I not surprised?
Yeah.
Oh, I was like thought he was on my side the whole game. And
he's got that nice guy facade down. Like,
okay. So, you know what? We're going to have a new special starting tonight. How's this sound, Jerry? We just got the idea in the chat. So we're going to now ask our guests once a week to spell an alien or a species.
To spell like a card title?
Yeah.
Like
okay.
Val Syndros?
Yeah,
something like that. And if you get it correct, you'll get a prize. I will determine the prize, not tonight. Sorry, it's kind of on the spot.
Yeah, because sometimes people can spell quickly. Like I can go on GEMP and look up.
Well, for us, we can at least see what you're doing, so we can see that you're typing or whatever.
Okay, so I'm going to give you...
Google,
so this is the first one.
No, just kidding.
Okay, let's go with...
Are you picking one?
Okay, yeah. Are you ready?
Sorry, Google thought I actually said spell just kidding and started spelling it for me.
Okay.
I'm ready for you.
Scott, your card of the week is Palo Richard.
P.A.
That guy's weird.
Yeah, he's a rare alien from Jabba's Palace light side.
He's the Cloud City guy.
No, he's not the Cloud City guy.
He's the guy that makes Palazzo Rashad.
The Carillion guy.
Yeah, he was really good. +2 activation.
Yeah, he was really good in Watch Your Step V back in Legacy.
PALAEORASHAD?
Nope.
No.
Sorry. It's PALEJO. RES.
Yeah, I knew there was a J in there somewhere.
Yeah. So close.
Man. No, it's okay. And what's this Ishii-Tib deck that you're going to be rocking, Jerry?
Oh, no, there was in the playtesting thing on Slack.
Well,
Justin.
No, I mean, there's no playtesting thing on Slack.
Oh, there is. Don't worry about it. It's not. It's Fight Club. We can talk about it. But he said he wanted to play a game against a normal deck. No Ishii-Tib Cantina start decks. Yeah. And I said, stop giving away my tech. That Ishii-Tib Cantina deck is going to win Worlds.
Thank you to our 12-month subscriber, SWCCG, Ardra. Ardra. And yes, Chris Goglin, your question, it's KASHYYYK for Kashyyyk.
Oh, Kashyyyk? Well, that's like Wookiee, right? OOE?
Yeah, well, he was asking in the chat how many H's are in Kashyyyk.
How many H's are in Kashyyyk?
How many H's are in the Wookiee home world?
ENDOR, right? Wookiees are from Endor.
You're now a member of the tribe.
Oh, so, you wanted to go into card. So we'll do card of the week first, and then we'll go into hit or miss.
Sure.
So we'll start with you, as always. Your card of the week was a dark side, right?
I chose dark side card of the week. I chose Lord Sidious, the Bill Kafer Lord Sidious. I am the Senate. Yeah, he's the Senate is the card you have to put the virtual slip over. Basically, my thoughts behind him. So once per game, you can either pull a Nemodian or always 2 there are. And then when he's in a battle alone or with your something else, let's see, let me pull him back up.
If on table or alone, or if alone or with your Theed Palace objective.
1 second, I need to plug in my computer.
Okay, do it. So yeah, if he's alone, or if your Theed Palace objective on table, which Stunning Move is a Theed Palace objective, then he can do his cool little excludey thing.
Well, he can also do it with Invasion.
Invasion or Stunning Move are both going to be on the table a lot more. So he's always going to be able to do that. And, combined with pulling a Nemoidian, you can pull Newt Gunray, who adds Destinies with characters in Trade Federation lore. And he has Trade Federation lore.
Boy, he can also, I want to say, he can get Nemoidian, he can get, like, Tehao.
Always, he can get any of the Nemoidians. It's just any Nemoidian.
So hold on. We might have some minus points for Jerry.
What did I do?
You're wrong.
Stunning move can't play Sidious? Okay, well, I screwed that up. I thought they could. I guess I'm wrong. Well, sorry, guys.
You may not deploy Sidious. Yeah, because you have the Emperor on table as
it just says you may not deploy Sidious. Right. Okay, I screwed that. So Invasion.
But yes, you are correct. It is
I've been talking a lot about Invasion on the last
minus 5 points.
Sorry, I screwed up. I'm bad at this game. But anyways, yeah. So he's still a good card, and I still think people
really good card.
We'll play him a lot more in Invasion. I think Invasion main will be like an actual thing.
Hopefully,
after set.
Everybody plays Invasion, but nobody wants to flip it.
You don't really have to. It's you get the 2 Battle Destiny if unable to otherwise, and then to have your icons at Naboo, but like it's not the end of the world for most decks, for most of the invasions right now. But we'll see if maybe it's going to be more of a flipping deck with Invasion. So I imagine it would, because you can use Sidious to pull your Nemoidians, get those out, flip it, have lightsabers on the ground. Maul will be crazy good. In set 12.
So we have a Mr. Batmouse in the chat right now. He has subscribed for 11 months. You're 1 away from that foil map objective, Mr. Howard.
Well, thanks for the sub. Appreciate you, Mr. Batmouse. So what is your card of the week, Mr. Dan?
My card is actually something very special to me. It's actually the first rare I pulled from opening a pack. It's Rogue One. This is the speeder. Yeah, this was actually the first rare.
One?
Yeah,
Rouge
One. It's French, not the it's not fragile, but yeah, it was actually the first rare that I pulled from any pack. Like randomly at a baseball card convention with my dad. Buying Ken Griffey Jr. cards left and right, and I was like, "Oh, Star Wars came out with the card thing. Buy some Hoth packs, because why the heck not?" And in the way back over to the other side of Pittsburgh, opened up the packs, and was like, "Oh, cool! I got Luke Speeder. Now I just need Luke."
Yeah, so Luke would be good on that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, hey, little sentimental value in the card game for sure. I can't remember the first rare that I ever pulled, but I remember the first one that I was excited about was the Cloud City Boba Fett. When I was buying packs. Yeah, that was a great image, and I remember just in Darkside, I felt like, I had Luke's and Leia's and things but Darkside for me, I never had a bunch of good Darkside characters because Vader's were $50, and I had EPP Vader because you'd get him pretty cheap. But yeah, getting good Darkside characters for me was always fun back in the day. And then plus Boba Fett is just Boba Fett, and that image from Cloud City is just perfect. So
I remember making a trade for Red 3 Biggs ship, and the guy traded me for Blizzard 2, and I acted like I got a better deal, and I was just learning the game, and basically I got taken for a ride. So that's how it is.
I was gonna say, the worst trade I've ever done. I mean, it was I traded Gold Leader and Gold 1, Red Leader and Gold or Red 1 foils, and another random foil for a Mara Jade foil. Just okay, thank you.
Wow. Say that's a good trade for you.
Yeah. It's a pretty awesome trade.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. It's an ultra rare foil if memory serves.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I mean, I've had, that's one thing about this game. I mean, not only is the community great and just great memories from going to tournaments, opening packs is always fun. And
give you some young Jedi for that one. Value box.
All of the
You know
Young
what?
Jedi.
Like I've got so many gold coins sitting in my Gemp account. I'm just like, man, I really want to buy a box
Just to open them up.
just for
You can
giggles.
live stream it. Live
Hey,
stream
you know
pack
what?
openings.
If we want, I'll do it. I'm going to say this. First of all, I want to come up with my own little brand for Twitch because I want to stream a lot more. So if you
Yeah.
guys got any ideas on what I should call my account, let me know. Because right now it's just DTAR Tag 1. It's kind of boring. But yeah, I would
That's
love to do
fair.
something kind of fun with it, especially like Star Wars related. So let me get if anybody's got any interesting ideas, let me know. Yeah.
Do it for the foils.
Can I go over a card that I think everybody should be playing right now?
Yeah, card of the week, Scotland Grell. Do it.
So I'm going to go with Surprise.
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 It's the dark side one that lets you move.
Yeah, so I've been using it in my agent's flip deck. So the idea is you start Zizor, you put it at the 1-0, and then invariably they're going to come and they're going to kill you. Right? And so what happens is then you will deploy somewhere else and you play Surprise and move the presence, and now they've got everybody stuck in a non-battleground and they can't do anything about it.
So that's the one from Cloud City, right?
Yeah.
So
and the other thing, it's not coded correctly, but they need to, you can also do neighboring, because if they neighboring, you can move any character to any site and you can change who they target. They have to code it right. Right now it only lets you switch who they target. But like I had a guy that wanted to target like Luke and I changed it to 3PO. So now all of a sudden 3PO gets neighbored. So it's a really forceful card.
Or can you also change the location where they neighbor them to?
You're supposed to, but GEMP isn't coded for that right now.
Okay.
So you know what?
The idea is you can send it to like their Yavin 4 war room, or
just like have fun over there.
If they try and any
chambers,
right, and then they're stuck there. So the card has so many uses, and even the light side version, right? You put projection on a site and they move. You can then relocate it.
Well, I don't think projection will work.
Light side one is I've got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, so there's a lot of like Force Lightning. All of a sudden, I'll redirect it.
It's the Dagobah bad feeling card.
Yeah. So I like it because if they Force Lightning you can use the light side one to retarget to your higher ability character, so it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
You go to Weapon Lev, you can change it to the other character or something like that. You have flexibility.
You can change Haven from your Yavin 4 to another one that you control, and you can get like, oh, your Haven goes away now.
Canceled.
Wow.
Yeah, as long as it's not immune to all, you're good. So I think it's an awesome card. I've definitely used it with your effects. I've used it with Alter. You can use it for a lot of different things. It's definitely got a lot of uses. Definitely try it.
So your card of the week brought to you by Scotland Grell. Surprise.
There you go.
Surprise.
Yeah, surprise.
You know what, Scott? Just for you, I'm gonna make an AI with you on Surprise. Yes.
Don't do that.
Yes.
Don't do that.
Fine, I'll make you an AI. Mind what you have learned. Hey, you know what? No. I right now at work, it's kind of nice because there are nice little breaks. So I've been working on some projects for the PC. But
cool.
Yeah. So the other kind of segment that we do every week when we're here is swing and a miss. I think Jerry's got a few. So we'll go into that.
I've got 4, and we can come up with a couple at the week if we have to.
Is this like the girlfriend I had when I was 13 that didn't want to date me?
No, this is very much like PTI kind of thing. We're going to make a statement, and you have to say it's a hit, as in the light side card, it's a hit, or swing and a miss, as in
the light side card.
Light side card.
Miss.
Yeah. We had it as something else before, but I can't remember what it was. We changed it to these two.
Yeah.
All right, so my first one is QMC will be tier 1 after the new Han Chewie and the Falcon releases. Is that it's a hit or swing and a miss?
That's definitely a miss. There's no way that's going to be possible. It needs too much right now. I don't see it possible. I just don't see it working.
A lot of people are saying QMC has some momentum with this, so that's why I went with it.
You know what? I'm going to say swing and a miss as well. I think people are going to have other options that they want to play. I think Prophet's going to be really popular. I think No Idea is still going to be popular. Throne Room's really good. I think they're still working on the Han Chewie and the Falcon, and I think they made some changes to it.
It was in flux.
Yeah,
but
so don't
the
get me wrong.
version is the one that's deploys for 6, adds a Destiny to power, is immune to lateral damage.
Is it immune?
I think so. I don't
No,
know.
I don't think it's been immune to lateral
No.
damage at this
Or it's
point.
immune to come with me and like
maybe.
Immune to attrition. It was the
immune less than 5, I think is what it is. So they toned that
right
down.
there, saying that it's immune less than 5 has me worried a little bit because there's not a light side close call. There, I mean,
Yes, there is.
No, I mean, well, yeah, you can cancel and
No, like,
redraw it, but
yeah.
you're
Right.
add instead of minusing 3,
There's
you're
not a
plusing
subtract
3.
3.
It's plus
Exactly.
3. Yeah.
And the best part about close call is the fact that you can minus 3, so that way you know, oh, you're drawing a 3. Well, now it's 0. Or you're drawing a 7. Oh, it's going to get rid of my immunity. Well, now it's minus 3. Oh, I'm still immune. So
you can put Yoda on there as a passenger now. It has passenger slots, so that'll limit their destinies.
I think
Ahsoka
with
will
like
make their
maybe
destinies -1.
Ahsoka, yeah, and I mean Ahsoka, maybe you still want to play the Bright Hope, so you got to have another capital with the Bright Hope. So maybe it's Tantive, but I mean I think the space package is going to be different with QMC, but it's not going to rely upon the home one as much. But I don't think.
I don't think it needs the home one anymore. The Hunchu and the Falcon. Tier 1 is a pretty bold thing, but maybe just at least getting back towards, because like right now it hasn't been seen at least very much in the last few major events. So maybe I was sort of thinking HCF would give it a pretty big boost. Maybe not to Tier 1, but maybe 1.5 or Tier 2 for sure. It's going to be played a lot more, and I mean, because that's a deck that doesn't really need Han or Chewie as much on the ground. You cover a lot of interior sites, so you don't need to worry too much about vehicles for Chewie, and then it's much more efficient and saves you some deck slots from those characters. And I don't know, it seems to me like it could push QMC in the right direction.
I think light side still wants to play solo more, especially like with your throne room, your Hitco, stuff like that.
Yeah, it depends on the deck for sure.
It depends on the deck. I think maybe Han Chewie the Falcon is going to be predominantly in like a hidden base, a QMC, but yeah, I don't see it.
EBO.
I think giving up Han and Chewie, especially because of vehicles being so popular, you really need to have the Chewie. I just don't see it happening. I mean, unless meta changes, I think it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess for mine, so for the next one, so now that the NPC's postponed, essentially, now we can start looking for the next event. So the next event we normally goes to Nationals.
Right, which
Nationals, you know what? I think Nationals going to return past the Mississippi River this year.
We haven't, So I mean, some people who I've talked to about this, we are planning Nationals in Denver for the summer.
Well, you gave it away.
We haven't landed location exactly yet. I'm in negotiations with some places and talking and stuff, waiting for people to call me back. The last week obviously has been a little weird because of everything.
Have the negotiations been short?
They were brief, at least. No, we're just trying to hammer out a good spot for everything and get that figured out. I do hope to announce a final location here in the next week or so.
Okay.
So it is looking to be like July 17th, 18th, 19th, something around there. Like the third weekend of July. So yeah, put that on your calendars. I sort of reached out to a few people just to gauge interest before we nailed down officially that it would be given to us. So yeah, it's going to be Denver area for the Summer Nationals, big major event. We haven't had one since 2010 in Colorado, a big major. So we're definitely, our community is really excited to host this and have everybody in for a good time. So more info coming soon, but yeah, go ahead, Dan.
So I was going to say, so think about this. It's April, or no, it's March. Sorry, getting ahead of myself because I'm thinking about let's move past March at this point. It's March. We know Nationals is coming up in July. We know Worlds is in DC in October. And now we know the NPC is in January. So we now know where the next 3 events are. So
and
that's
Europe.
3 events. And we know Europe. Yes, don't forget our European brothers out there. So yeah, I mean, it's a great time because now we know people can start planning their trips. They can ask their wives for permission to go play a card game. one of the little benefits of being single.
Or just clandestine go and not tell them like Scotland Growl.
Scotland Growl, Mr. So Scott, how many boxes of Star Wars cards do you have under your desk still?
None.
None. Okay. So
anyway, how about those Mets?
Baseball hasn't started yet. Sadly.
I'll tell you something. I think this new mall deck is because there's a new card, right? That came out. SSA.
Slip sliding away. Yes.
I think that is absolutely going to be the dominant deck for Darkside.
I think that's saying like SSA itself, or
no? I think a mall deck.
You start the Desert Landing site, and then Watto's Junkyard.
Watto's Junkyard, and I think the goal is you run like 4. Remember the old Endor, the old Bespin decks that would run 5 of the free Executor effect?
Mm-hmm.
I think running 5 Expand the Empire, because the idea is you play the Queen Amidala effect, you play Expand the Empire, you go to the adjacent site, it's a drain of 5 or 6.
Yeah. Right, and that's essentially, if you have a maul in your hand, that's a drain threatening turn 2.
Right, because it's a drain of 4 usually, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then if you move over, it's a drain of 5 or 6 or something like that. I don't know. It's ridiculous though. So I think that's going to be an option because you pull Watto turn 1, you pull that, you start Crush, so they can't. You were beating them, and you just got to hope. And now if they play other sites, so be it. You just go to the adjacent site. That's the way they're going to.
There you have it, everybody. If you're looking for a dark side, everybody, there you go. Scott has just given you a dark side deck. Go play that at your
local
your
tournament weekend.
Your local tournaments. That once we get all clear to be outside. CRG, thank you, sir, for subscribing for 14 months. There
CRG.
You go.
But I think that's a hit. That's going to be a hit. That deck.
Speaking of SSA, I think Jerry has a hit or miss topic on that card.
I do. That's my next one. I've got 2 more. So I've got
stealing your thunder.
Okay.
My bad.
It's a different take on it. So it's more related towards ISB will make a return to relevancy, we'll call it, with the slip sliding away start. So ISB is one of the few objectives that can start slip sliding away. The other ones being this deal's getting worse all the time.
And break him before me.
Yeah, bring him before me.
Yeah.
So ISB will get a much more activation for its first few turns. Not have to worry about just starting one Coruscant location and starting with basically a 2-0 activation. It'll be able to start, with a much more in line with other decks activation ratio. So with that in mind, will it be an actual deck now? Is that it's a hit or a swing and a miss?
I think it's going to be a hit, and I think dark decks are going to be playing, or light decks are going to be playing Blount.
Yeah, Blount is always the ISB counter.
Honestly, I think it's a miss, swing and a miss, and my reasoning is
you're a guy who plays a lot of ISB, so that's good to hear.
I like ISB. I love the deck. It's a straight control deck, and I love that. The biggest problem for ISB is you want to limit where your opponent can do. And I think that's always been the case with ISB. So the way I like to play ISB is I'm going to play like Dark Waters, Image of a Dark Lord, to basically use projection on their drains. Or I'm going to play...
Slow them down.
Slow them down, essentially. And then Turtle. It's a singular
retrieve
focus.
Agents and push this damage through.
I just don't like it. And the big thing for me was once you get flipped and you have like say the droid out there and you're doing a -1 with the droid at like say the Ewok village or
5d6.
The 5d6 droid. Yeah, and then you have like you can -1 their drains at the Ewok village, and then that works. Because your objective, then you say have like a Dark Waters or Image of the Dark Lord there to -1 again. So
someone in chat says
system.
Someone in chat says the biggest problem with ISB is that's boring and the most uninteractive deck there is.
No,
except for mine, what you've learned.
Yeah, at least for Darkside maybe.
That's what they need. I guess that makes sense. But I think Hayes has always said in his notes, if you give it activation, right, then you can maybe go back to a big blue version of Star Destroyers because it's getting more activation. I don't know. we'll
You
see
know,
what
the
creative
thing about
stuff
that
comes
is
out
like
of
with
it.
the big blue version, where it plays the. So I played big blue as Baronies, where you play the free executor effect. You get executor out. You're playing docking bays plus mobilization points, so that way you can get extra drain.
Spread out.
You can sit at docking bays. That version, I still think has like its little bit of a mix right now, just because of the meta. I just don't. I don't know. Like
Yeah,
ISB, I think it's going to be weird. I think it's going to have to adapt. I would rather play something else, like a stunning move or a hunt down, or even a bring him before me with SSA.
there's
Now,
others. Yeah, slip sliding away. Start
I
make
think there's
walkers maybe
other
with slip sliding
ways.
away.
You could almost do a walker deck. Yeah, I would say like you play
That and
the
veers.
third marker, you get veers, you get out your other sites, but you don't go to space. You just sit there on Hoth doing a crap ton of damage.
Yeah, it kind of takes rebel base occupation out of it, but like might give you a
You don't
better,
need it.
faster start. You don't, you might not need it.
And I think that's the way the game is going slowly. It's if you're not activating 7 to 8 force by turn 2, you're going way too slow.
Yeah, I mean, there's decks like Diplo that can get to like 10 or 12 activation on turn 2, and so yeah, you have to definitely.
I mean, look at like OA. How much activation did they get turn 2? It's insane.
Yeah, there's very little early game.
Yeah,
we move to the mid game very swiftly.
Yeah,
these days. So we'll see if maybe these decks like ISB, Bring 'em Before Me, decks that are helped by slip sliding away, can
slow things
sort of
down.
Move past, or either slow things down or move past their own slowness and be able to keep up with some of these other decks that get to the mid game.
I was actually going to say, speaking of which, after set 12 comes out, we're going to see a move from the mid game decks that we're seeing now to a more early, quick beats type of deck, as well as a control type of deck that will prolong the game to the point where you can dictate what your opponent does.
So like, I don't know how many super fast decks we have in the meta right now. Like, no idea. I would say is a pretty fast deck. Map, I wouldn't say is a fast deck anymore.
No.
I'm not sure Darkside has. Maybe Court, I guess, could be considered sort of a fast deck, but
in a way,
it's definitely not as fast as No Idea.
Yeah, and
no,
I think
not
that,
as fast.
But I think what you're saying though now is because of like an SSA where you're getting Darkside can now get 4 activation and give out 1 turn at the start of the game.
Yeah.
And then you play stuff like docking bays and other stuff to generate more force. So you can have like a turn 2, or even with your maul deck, you can have maul on ground turn 1, doing a potential threatening a potential drain of 4, and if your opponent only activates like 5 or 6, what are they really going to be able to do against maul?
Yeah, there's not much you can do turn 1 for a light side.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, you're going to see more of a fast-paced type of a deck, as well as like a control. So you're going to see the meta starting to shift from those mid-game, beat you down like win turn 7 types of decks to I'm going to position myself early game, like turn 1, 2, or I'm going to try and extend the game to turn like 15, 16 to win.
Yeah, I mean, we do have time limits in our game, so I feel like that's why we don't see a ton of super slow decks. But I think the meta will slow down, a little bit with set 12 for sure.
I agree.
Yeah. So we on my last one.
I think you have like 2 more, Jerry. You
actually, I think one of them might have got deleted from my notepad here. Let me go back to my chat that I sent you.
The next one we got is
you can go ahead and read
Space Vader will make a comeback.
Oh yeah, that's
that right. The custom tie has been redone to make it so that you could play Darth Vader V.
Yeah, because he didn't get the bonus on that before, but now he does.
I say
I don't see it.
Scott?
Yeah, I love Space Vader, so I was hopeful. Go ahead, Scott.
I was going to say, yeah.
Especially the spy version.
What do you mean?
The spy Space Vader? Oh, no, that was Robbie. I played Robbie in Texas, and he deployed Vader to a non-battleground. Or it was I did or something, like neither of us realized what happened. Yeah. and so we put spy in his lore.
Oh,
I
God.
just don't see it happening. I think you need him in other ways. I don't think it's going to be. I just don't see it affecting things right now.
I say it's a hit. I think Darkseid, I think, is going to start switching from more of a ground. They're going to have like maybe like one or two. Like you're going to see a Maul being able to hold one site to, and maybe allowing Vader to go up and drain in space. I think decks like maybe a Set Your Course are going to become popular because Darkseid is getting good Star Destroyers, and you see a lot of good space packages with, say, Zuckuss, Dengar, Jabba Space Cruiser is really good. And I mean, yeah, you might not see it out inside of like Court, but the dark side meta is going to change a lot after this coming set. Don't get me wrong, Darth Vader Enforcer is really, really, really good, especially with against like a no idea deck. I think
Right.
Darkseid's going to have to start adapting to different strategies, and cards such as Slip Sliding Away is evident of that.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that Space Vader can make more of a comeback. I feel like right now in both sort of on both sides of the Force, space isn't really like that big of a focus. I feel like there's not a lot of hidden base. EBO isn't really. I mean, it's out there, but it's not a ton. I feel like most decks are more character based, and you just sort of like space is like, oh well, I'll just sort of do a couple like two or three ships seems to be like the max in any space any deck right now. So I wonder if we'll see more decks sort of play matching ships again, like if Watch Your Step comes back or.
Well, I know the meta has been like with characters, for example, no idea. They're running like 30 characters. I mean, that's bizarre. I mean, that's just the way the meta is gone right now, where you play 7, 10 characters. You just can't compete. So it might go, if it does go space-based, yeah, Vader will be better, but I just don't see it happening, unfortunately, at this time.
You're probably right.
That's fair.
All right.
So
I got one more.
You've got one more.
Sort of in line with where we were just talking. The Moncal Dockyards rework, which I know Dan is really excited about because he really loves the art on that image, will bring about some light side space decks and maybe ones that we haven't seen before. Is that it's a hit or swing and a miss? So with Dockyards now, you can use Admiral's Orders, which you weren't able to do before. And
now the home one has a
the home one is also affected by the deployment modifier. So those are some big changes.
It kind of gives like a mini quad drive yards because they draw Destiny if unable to otherwise, and they have a little bit of immunity. Right. I like the card. I mean, I like what they've done. I like it is a little bit more playable. Don't get me wrong. I like the idea of like a no idea with this. In a weird because you can.
That's
pull.
A deck that I think could actually work in.
Yeah. I also like the idea maybe of a hidden base. I don't want to say hidden base, but hidden base is still a deck. And,
it could be.
We have to approach.
We haven't seen it since the terrible Johnny Chu. Endor
so Johnny
deck,
Chu wrecked Endor with his guns. Yeah.
I think it's interesting. I would like to see it with a looping Liberty.
Yeah, looping Liberty seems really good. Like for no idea, every
5 force for it.
The Liberty goes used when it's lost. So yeah, you can just recycle that over and over and over again at a pretty cheap cost. Mm-hmm. And like no idea seems like a really good. And the other text on the Admiral's Order capital support is the like ping 1 force that your commander or general occupies. So you can't play General Leia obviously because she makes your Admiral's Order suspended, but you can play other generals, solo. There's all sorts of commanders and things like that. Yeah. So start doing some ping damage and then get your deployment modifier and all that good stuff. Yeah, I think capital support. It might not. I don't think anything is going to go tier 1, top tables, winning nationals, winning worlds. But I think there'll be some experimentation. Yeah. Maybe some OCS decks will see some growth.
You know what? I'm going to say this. I would love to see. Just seeing this card. I mean, like I said, it's one of the nicer images that we've made, and I don't know if somebody has. I don't know who provided the image, but clearly, it's one of my favorite. So
the Dockyards.
Yeah. It's an interest. I mean, like it's a nice little image, and just seeing the card not being used and essentially it's binder fodder
cube card.
Yeah. So.
All right.
So
So do you have any more, Dan? Or
I think we touched upon it. I mean, we've gone for about an hour and a half now. I mean,
yeah, we sure
I know
have.
you were
Yeah.
saying that this
I
is
just
going to be
wasn't
shorter shows, but I mean,
yeah,
hey,
we're
we
good at
had
talking
Scott
about
on.
Star Wars.
I'm gonna talk Star Wars until
No,
this-
yeah. No,
yeah.
that was
So
good.
I mean, I think we do have one question in the.
Do it again next week.
Hey,
Next
if you
week.
want to, we'll have you back on.
There you go.
Yeah,
What's up?
Anytime.
So
I don't think the question that was asked in chat is actually worthy of asking on the air.
no. Sorry, Mike
No,
Pistone.
don't worry about it. That's not actually Pistone. That's Pistone's
You know
Ivory
what?
Death
I'm going to
Fist.
say that's Pistone until otherwise.
It's not him.
I'm going to
trust me.
say Mike Pistone until otherwise.
He has an actual account.
I know
that
he
uses for
does.
Twitch,
It's just
so.
funny to me.
Anyways, thank you once again,
Yes,
Scott, for
thank
making
you.
time for us. I know it's
Thank
getting
you.
pretty late back out east. We're over here in the Mountain Time Zone.
Well,
on the
I'm
West
in the
Coast, so-
Pacific. I'm having
Right.
fun. It's
So-
only
Ready to
7:30.
go out?
Yeah, right. It's
Whoa,
go out and
whoa!
do nothing.
You are not allowed to go out, sir. You have
No.
to wash your hands.
Nice shades.
I'm gonna say this: if there's one meme that needs to be made, like at this point, it's the old Rocco's Modern Life thing from the Filbert. You turn the page, you wash your hands. You turn the page, you wash your hands.
I don't even know what that is. No, these are my go to the garage glasses.
Is that where you keep
they're
all your
pretty
cards
rad.
now?
They're pretty rad.
Yeah, I want to like. The story was, if anybody doesn't know, the old story was Scott was he actually had his collection underneath his desk at work, and yeah,
Did you really?
No, it was just a joke.
it was a joke, but
All right. Well,
Whoa.
yeah. Thanks, guys, again for tuning in. Hopefully, everyone's staying safe, staying inside. Get some games in on GEMP. Congrats to, I think it was P. Myers, who has an
Yes.
11-1 so far in the OCS. Is
Yeah,
the top
I
dog so
know.
far. So
Wow.
he probably has clinched a spot in the top 16. 11-1 is pretty hard to beat. but
yeah. I
we'll
mean,
see if
right
anybody
now,
else in the next 12, 13 days can top that.
yeah, I
I'm
know.
not.
I
P,
won't.
P. Myers is or not P. Myers. He's first. Coffee Pass. I'm not sure who Coffee Pass is off the top of my head. He's sitting at number 2. He's 32. He has got 32 points. So I want to say that's 10 and
I
2.
think he's 10-2
Yeah.
or 10-1. He's eligible
So
for top-ish
hey,
area.
I'm going to say this: Chris Kelly is currently he's done. He's at 26 points. So my prediction that you, me, and Chris Kelly not making the top 8 is so far 100%, or top 16 is 100%. Thank you,
100%.
Chris.
It's Chris Kelly. He's not going to win any.
Well, he's not going to win the NPC.
No.
No.
I give him
He's
crap.
still the
and
reigning NPC winner at this point.
He can beat everybody, and he's only beat me 2 or 3 or 4 times. So I mean, that's
Only
not-
4, 5, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah,
10.
that's not easy to do. I don't think he can keep doing that, and I'm going to show him that he can't keep doing that.
All right. Well, thanks, guys, once again for being with us. We're gonna
Thank
sign
you.
off now.
Yes, thank you.
But
Take
yeah,
care, everybody.
We'll see you next
Have a
week
good
for
one.
another episode. Take care. May the
Take
force
care,
be with
guys.
you.
Thank you for
Adios.
everything.